The crew worldwide, from Cali to Twitter, real hardcore fans, boxing ass niggas, consistency cops, police the views, we'll pull up receipts for any debate you choose. Shout outs to Clan Archie for the dope production. Ring Gang stay with the best discussions. Ring Gang Radio.
There was also another string of fights that happened this weekend in the Cruiserweight division, where of course, if you heard me and LB talk about it, we speak very highly and glowingly about the Cruiserweight. As in, it's besides, it's a murderer's row division, and it's just
when all else fails, the Cruiserweights always deliver.
Exactly.
And this is the perfect fucking example. You didn't get no decent boxing until you seen the fucking Cruiserweights fights this weekend. Like, let's be honest. Like,
yeah, that's also real talk. I mean, the first one that was up to bat was the WBSS Semifinals. First one obviously being, I think it was Usyk that was first. I think it was. Was it? Was it Usyk? No, probably wasn't. No, it wasn't Usyk. What the hell am I talking about Usyk for? The WBSS semifinals, and it was just, the first one off the bat was Dorticos. There we go. What am I saying Usyk for? That's like, Usyk on the brink because he dominated that fucking division so thoroughly. No, but the first fight was Dorticos versus Andrew Tabiti. And that fight, what made that fight in terms of stakes on the line was the IBF title was freed by Usyk's grasp. See, like I said, Usyk, even after he made the little trip to heavyweight, he still held on to all but one of his belts. But then on fight night, though, he let go of the IBF title. So the IBF title was on the line in that fight. Andrew Tabiti, of course, TMT, he was the lone American representative in Cruiserweight division. And Cruiserweight before, as we alluded to before, like I said, it's a very popular division. If you're a hardcore fan, if you like to see fades, you like to see fighters that are like heavyweights but with high work rate and a tendency to throw, this is a division for you. But unfortunately, Cruiserweight is not a U.S.-centric division. Which is probably what you was.
It's not buzzing. It only buzzes in like certain. It's always good, but it has its seasons when it buzzes. If you get what I'm saying, like
right.
Usyk started another season of buzzing, but if you remember the previous season, and I'm saying season like it was last year or 2 years ago, but if you remember the Mormac, Steve Cunningham,
O'Neal Bell, David
O'Neal Bell, yeah, that was the name I was looking for. The Wayne Braithwaite.
Yeah.
Braithwaite. My bad if I'm saying his name wrong, but him, when you had all those fighters fighting each other, that was the way things buzzing in.
Yeah, and they fought also on American TV too. They Showtime used to air their fights and everything, Guillermo Jones too, that's another name.
Oh hell yeah.
So yeah, I mean Cruiserweight, even when it's buzzing, you get good fights, and when it's not buzzing, you still get good fights. But like I said, it's not a US centric division, unfortunately. And that's the reason why
world boxing.
Yeah. Like that's the reason why it doesn't get the mainstream attention that it would get, that it should get, even though it's one of the most consistent divisions in terms of quality matchups and fades and stuff of that nature. So with that being said, Dorticos versus Tabiti, up until the ending was not really anything home to write about. Tabiti, like I said, I never thought really had it because he was fighting on those early PBC prelim cards, and I just didn't see it with him. But regardless, I want him to prove me wrong finally. Getting his title shot, even after 17, 18 pro fights or whatever. And Dorticos, of course, is the KO doctor. Dude had an epic fight. He had an epic KO and an epic fight in the last season on there before succumbing. losing his belt to Gassiev. So it's just like, you know, so it's just like, you know, it's a good match. He's a veteran. He's a former champ. You know, you were thinking, oh, you know, this may turn into something. And it didn't get going to anything. It was blah. As mostly it was negative because Tabiti was leading with his head. He was clinching a lot. Again, it was another fight where clinching was just, there was over reliance on it. And it really took away from the flow of the fight until the 10th round.
That's the theme of the fucking weekend, it seems.
Yeah. Definitely can't agree with you. Definitely can't disagree with you on that. Theme was a good word. Theme was definitely the word. But that, of course, came to an end suddenly and violently, where where Takeo Dorticos landed a whistling right hand on the jaw of Tabiti, and Tabiti went out unconscious. Like he was out of there, you know, out of this world. Like, you know, he was in another dimension. He got hit so hard. So so we ended up with Dorticos now claiming the IBF Cruiserweight title and going on to the finals. Fun times. Yeah, I mean, that the KO itself, like I said, it was brutal. I mean, it's definitely a KO of the year candidate. So I mean,
it's up there. YouTube. And we've had some good ones this year.
Yeah, we have. And this one's definitely up there. You know, so if you have YouTube, obviously I think the clips are all up on there. You know, from the Zone channel, whatever. You know, check that out. Well, if you're anything, just skip to the 10th round.
Yeah. Do yourself a favor.
Right. And then the second...
You see how the rest of the weekend tried to even invade the Cruiserweight division, but the Cruiserweight wasn't having it.
No, I don't know.
He said, fuck no. That's the boxing gods working for you right there. That just show you.
Yeah. And then, of course, we had the other WBSS semifinals matchup between Mairis Briedis and Krzysztof Głowacki. Is it Głowacki or something like that? I don't know if you get the Polish trend.
Głowacki.
Yeah, Głowacki. Pronunciation is correct. So this fight had some of the most focused or unfocused fuckery I've ever seen within 3 rounds or less in a fight. And all started because of a damn foul. It all started where Głowacki landed a rabbit punch. And Briedis responds by throwing an elbow. And usually in boxing, an elbow is just 2 points off or a divorce. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't know what...
Divorce?
Disqualification. I said divorce.
Yeah, you said divorce.
I said divorce. Disqualification. What the fuck did I... See, I gotta stop reading this shit that I'm reading up here.
I mean, technically, you unmarrying a nigga from the fight. Like, you're like...
That's also true.
You were the, you know, being together into the fight. So, nah. So, I mean, I feel where you going back.
No, but yeah, no, that either way, the elbow should have gotten him out of there. You know, instead, of course, you know, Głowacki tried to milk that shit because, you know, he was on granted, he did get hit with a pretty good elbow, but he was on that canvas not really being compliant. You know, the ref told him to get up. Although I don't know if that should have been the ruling. If telling him to get up. I mean, it wasn't counted, but telling him to get up, I mean, I was under assumed that a foul, you know, unless
you got 5 minutes, man, but
unless of course the referee was out. So I mean, yeah. So who knows, you know, why the ref? But that was only the beginning. So Głowacki comes up and they're scrapping. You know, Głowacki will go down legit this time in the exchange. Get up and they're scrapping some more. The bell rings. The referee seemingly is unaware of the bell. The fighters are seemingly unaware of the bell, or they hear it, but they're just not. You know, they're just too busy.
I think the fighters heard it, but they didn't care. They just kept going, man. That shit was wrong too.
Yeah, I'd never seen it. At least a good 15, 20 seconds after the bell. And then the cornermen were coming into the ring to try to separate them. And just as they were trying to get to them, Głowacki goes down the end because he catches a serious shot that puts him down. And he's definitely on Queer Street after that. You know, he's on serious Queer Street.
Yeah, that shot was nasty. Like, whoa.
Yeah, and then after that, though, the ref counts him, even though the round is over. And it's just, and I'm over here watching the screen like, what the fuck is this ref doing? What the fuck is Robert Bird doing? You know, why is he counting? And then after that, you know, while in the corners, he's seemingly stopping the fight. And I'm just like, why? Why are you stopping the fight? And then, you know, you see him picking up the scores from the judges or whatever, and then all of a sudden he calls the fight back in, which is just like, at this point you're just mind blown at all this fuckery that's going on with this ref. Like, I mean, I've seen wild incompetence, but this takes the cake in terms of
theater of the unexpected.
Theater, especially only in Cruiserweight too. So they come up for the next round, and Głowacki's still not in his right state of mind, and Briedis wipes him out this time for good. You know, and the ref stopped it there. Like I said, I've never seen so much fuckery in my life, and I mean, unfortunately, it's a tournament, so they probably can't no contest it, because then it opens up some other issues like who's going to actually advance. You know, and
that's unfortunate shit. They just needed better refereeing, man. You know, Robert Bird is usually decent, but he had a bad night. But that nigga old too, though.
Yeah, he's like 74. Like, I mean, I think it's time for him to like hang up the bow tie. You know, it's yeah, because I mean,
he move around good too, but it's like. But you're not hearing the bell, and you're not really enforcing the fight like you should. Like, not really enforcing, but, you know, keeping the fight from, you know, going, you know, out of control. Like, you know, like, you're not supposed to, you know, a good ref, you're not supposed to feel he there, but he also supposed to kind of, if shit get out of hand, you're supposed to quell it. Like, just like how we were saying with the Galahad fight with Warrington, you know, a better ref would have broke those fighters up, would have reprimanded Galahad, and probably would have changed the whole course of the fight. We would have probably got a decent fight out of that.
Right. Exactly.
Even with this fight, we probably would have got a decent fight out of this one, but the referee, you know, couldn't really control it, and to his credit, I mean, there was a lot of fast fuckery going on, like one after the other, like, so. I mean, there's probably some seasoned refs that would have been probably overwhelmed. So,
right. So I mean, it's like if you haven't seen it, the Zone definitely has that footage out there, legal footage. You know, not no bootleg. It's out there that shows how everything just went awry. You know, just went awry. It was ridiculous. You know, I mean, luckily I said no one got seriously hurt. You know, but I'm pushing Głowacki now. I think he's appealing it. I mean, obviously you can't change it to no contest. Either it'll be, I mean, they can retroactively change it to a disqualification if needed. You know, which
or no contest or something, man. Like,
personally, I think they just need to run it back. You know, but like I said, it's a tournament.
But it shouldn't be no. I mean, if it's a blemish, it shouldn't be no fucking like loss or, you know, on neither guy. Like, you feel me? With a fight that had so much fuckery, like. I mean, I can understand the DQ though. I can understand, but goddamn, like maybe a no contest and you know they gotta run it back would be better. Like, but I mean, the shit was crazy though. Like, I don't even know what the fuck to say. That shit was just crazy.
Yeah, it was just absolutely nuts though. But you know, for the time being, now Briedis is the new WBO Cruiserweight champion, and he will be in the finals. But honestly, it remains to be seen how long he actually lasts. You know, it's just, you know, Briedis versus Dorticos. That alone, just on paper, is fuckery right there. Because Briedis can't fuck around with the KO doctor, and vice versa. You know, I have a feeling too that someone will be going to sleep in that fight. Who, I don't know, but I just have that feeling someone is going to get busted up and going to sleep.
All I know, if all these damn World Boxing Super Series fights, finals coming up, man, like to me, they really saving boxing, you know, with these matchups. Like, all these fucking punches, shooting the fade, like, they the real MVP, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the first round, at least for the cruiserweights, wasn't as exciting, you know. But, you know, like I said, you know, eventually once you get deeper in the tournament, you get better quality fights. So yeah, definitely kudos to them, you know, for setting all this up. Especially, obviously, this was in, you know, obviously the World Boxing Scripts, as I mentioned before, is the reason why I actually got a DAZN subscription, because I frankly was tired of looking for streams or having to go to the World Boxing Super Series site just to actually watch a fight. And it was very inconsistent in terms of quality and when it was actually going to air. So, so yeah, so that's that fight. It's brutality, brutality fuckery at its finest. And then the third cruiserweight fight, it was just straight violence. Like, there was no fucking around in this fight. You know,
just a good old fashioned regular good fight.
Yeah, exactly. You have
the one thing we couldn't seem to get, you know, from the whole weekend, like the one fucking fight where we just got two evenly matched guys who both wanted it and the styles meshed together, so we got a good fight. Like, what I asked for as a boxing fan, and this, with all the fights that went down and how they played out, it's just it's like you had to fucking just like it's like maybe like I don't know, dating a bunch of scallywags and you finally get you a dime or some shit. I mean, I don't know. Like you know, I guess you eat a whole bunch of nasty cereal to finally get the toy you want as a jit. Like, oh, okay, finally. But if you got some, you know, hood parents, you know, they ain't gonna let you just dig in the box and you better eat that motherfucking cereal.
Hell no. Although
So,
back
you
in
know,
the day, the toy used to be in the cereal. Now it's outside. It's in the box, but outside of the cereal, man. These kids, you know, they're too damn soft. They got it easy now. You know.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even know that. Wow, damn.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna learn you, man. Yeah, like I said, though, this, you know, the world's getting softer every day. Niggas don't. I mean, niggas can't even pretend they're going for buried treasure in their cereals no more. You know, oh no, we put it in the box outside of. Silly shit right there. Silly shit. But yeah, you know, just to use that analogy is, you know, just how things change with that. You know, so sometimes, you know, just like, you know, sometimes you have to go get toys in, you know, in the cereal box, you know, how they used to do it. Sometimes you have to go, sometimes you get cruiserweight fights that like diamonds in the rough, meaning they're not even really on American TV, although they feature notable fighters of that division. In the fucking case, Dmitry Kudrashov and Ilunga Makabu, they are no one is a former champion in Makabu, who famously in his most known fight, you know, got stopped by Tony Bellew, you know, after knocking him down. And if I'm also not mistaken too, he also stopped Glenn Johnson, one of only two men to actually do it. You know, so
I mean, you know, Glenn Johnson was, you know, wasn't really the Glenn Johnson we knew.
Yeah, but still, I mean, he's still a very tough man to stop.
Yeah, facts. You get his credit, but you know, it's not the same as Hopkins stopping him.
You know, in his actual prime, yeah.
Or even remember shit. Fucking Tavares Cloud was the first dude I can remember like visibly hurting Glenn Johnson in like a long time. If you remember that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he was like, I think showboating that. He's like, yo. But yeah. Back to the present. Just you know, boxing.
Yeah.
Too much boxing.
Like I said, those two fighters, like I said, because unfortunately this fight was not on American TV. Like I said, Macabre, like I said, you know, those were his 2 known fights, and you have Kudryashov, who, like I said, who has a ridiculous record. I'm talking about he's 23-3 with 23 knockouts. All his wins are all by knockouts. You know, all his losses are also by knockouts. So
live by the gun, die by the gun.
Pretty much. You know, he himself, you know, has come up short. I mean, he's knocked out some, you know, his most famous victim was, you know, knocking out aging Juan Carlos Gomez, who moved down to cruiserweight after eating himself and blowing up in weight because of coke addiction and heavyweight for years. Knocked him out in 1 round. So, like I said, it's either kill or be killed for him. But unfortunately for him, as powerful as he is, you know, he's very much the caveman. Really only throws 3 punches, and his stamina is not up to par. I mean, the farthest he's actually gone in a fight is like 6 or 7 rounds. You know, and you know, it's like I said, it's the kill, and then he gets busted up pretty easily if you land on him consistently. And then you have someone like Macabre, who's like 25-2 with 24 knockouts. 2 of his losses were both by KOs. Only 1 decision win. Only 1. You know, so actually when you get 2 fighters with these type of records, you can only expect one thing. You can only expect a firefight. And that's what we got. You know, and it was a straight up shootout. And this is something I forgot too. And I remember I was on the Ring Gang Twitter, and then, you know, I think it was Michael Benson, you know, dude's probably has one of the best boxing Twitter accounts around. You know, he referenced it and actually posted the link, which I was surprised it was a YouTube link. You know, YouTube is probably, you know, if it's a live YouTube link, then, you know, shit, that's as good as gold. So I managed to click on it in time to watch just the chaos just happen. Like it was a shootout. I mean, the second round was a near double knockdown. You know, whereas Kudryashov, I think they threw like left hooks or whatever. Kudryashov went down, and Macabre did this strange ass. You know, he did a little dance. You know, you're probably waiting like you probably blew on him. What's that?
Little 2-step right there. Like
he did a mean 2-step and a shimmy before he walked confidently back in his corner. But after that, it was just a straight shootout, man. They were throwing bombs at each other. Like, I mean, you could tell both of them were like, Kudryashov's face was like cuts and blood pouring out of everything. Macabre had like 2 cuts over his eyes and everything like that. His nose was bleeding. It was that type of fight. Like, they were letting straight, you know, they were like straight up fades was going down in that fight.
It was consistent. Like, there was no lulls in the round. You know, somebody was always working.
Right, and someone was already. So, you know, there was always some wobbling. Someone was in near trouble, and like the end came in the 5th round, where Kudryashov, you know, really started getting hammered with some shots, to the point where he started getting hammered on the ropes, and the referee was just like, nah, we gotta step in and stop you, because at that point, like, his face was all swollen too, and everything like that.
And those are hard, thudding shots. It's like he wasn't really trying to defend himself. He's not rolling, not moving. You know what I mean? You know, you just eating them hard shots.
Yeah, like I said, it was kill or be killed. That's what it was all about in that fight. Yeah, there was, like, defense. Yeah, it was non-existent. It was just 2 niggas there that was just, you know, knowing that they were probably close to getting a title shot, and they just like to lay it all on the line. And they did it, and they did it in spades. Like I said, it's an easy fight of the year candidate. Ooh, bless you. Goodness. Man. So yeah.
You know what? No, nah. It was a good fight, but I don't think it's fight of the year. Damn, for 2019, 2019 really got that slow.
Even unless you probably needed a couple more rounds of that.
Yeah, like I say it was like it needed one more oomph to it to really make it a candidate.
Like, I mean, either
2019, man. Like 2019 been kind of MAGA. been kind of, I mean, malnutrition. I can't say candidate, but let's not overrate this fight.
I won't say it's overrated. Like, I mean, it was
a good fight though. Like, I'm not gonna underrate it. Shit, it fucking saved the weekend.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, the Cruiserweight showed out and pretty much saved the boxing weekend. I mean, it was a brutal fight. I mean, it is on the side of one of the better fights in 2019. I mean,
like, I would definitely say. So far, I know in my head, I know we have like a top 10 in our head where we said that Dennehy, Roman, Hurd, J-Rock, Taylor, Person. That was like 3. Like, Peterson, Yippin, that's 4. I don't think it's 5 or 6 or nothing, but if I think there's some better fights out there that are ahead of it. But it might be lower level 10.
Right. I guess what we have to do is we'll see how this fight ages as the year goes on. I mean, will we get a streak of fight of the years that maybe supplants it, or will that really be? I mean, or will it stay on its own as a fight of the year candidate? I mean, it remains to be seen. But personally, I do think it is, because like I said, it was a hell of a slugfest. And with that, I mean, obviously, we see fights like that. I mean, one can't help but think, if what those two will look like going forward. I mean, Kudrasov, like I said, has been KO'd in all of his losses. And then and he got lit again. He got lit up again. So Wakabu. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens when they fight again, or not each other. I mean, after probably an extensive healing rest, most likely probably like 5 months at least. Because they're gonna need that recovery time. But yeah, no, the Cruiserweights last weekend, they were the unsung heroes. They showed the hell out, over the Fury fight and Lawrence and Galhead and so on and so forth. So yeah, like I said, Cruiserweights, man, like, you can never sleep on this division. Like, even if you have trouble pronouncing the names, all you need to do is just to watch them fight, man. That's as good as now. I mean, you can actually remember what they look like, and it's like, oh yeah, that's supposed to make out to this war so and so. That's just as good. Oh man, but yeah, Cruiserweight saved the weekend. Fury just got his stoppage. Warrington Galahad never really got a first gear. So yeah, that's basically all your fights in a nutshell from this past weekend. So that brings us to the end of our show. LB, do you have any thoughts? Any final thoughts?
Nah, just ringgameradio.com. Y'all just make sure y'all check us out. Go all this album out, available on all streaming platforms, and ain't got nothing much over else to say. Ringgameradio.com.
Yep.
Y'all check out the Eye Test podcast with PJ.
Yep. Like I said, definitely check out that podcast with PJ, man. It's a good fucking listen. And then myself, my final thoughts are, it's not boxing related. As I was telling LB, a couple days ago when I saw this movie, but Shaft is a great movie. It's very enjoyable. Do not listen or read to what these stuffy critics are talking about with Shaft. That movie had people in the theater cracking up, and the action was on point. So do not listen to any negative reviews about Shaft. Go and see Shaft. You cannot have it flop, and it only came in at 5 with $8.8 million. Now, this movie deserves more of our money. So yeah, so y'all just need to go ahead and go see that movie, because he's a complicated man that no one can understand but his woman. Which I'm just talking about Shaft. So. That's my final thought. We'll probably come back to you tomorrow. We'll be reviewing a season finale, as well as most likely doing a recap, or not recap, excuse me, a preview for for an upcoming card. So for myself, Patscorpio, the New England representative, for Shutterworth da Gawd, LB, the GOAT artist, Soul Wars and all that, as always, it was a wonderful episode of Real Talk, where as always, if shit's real, we talk about it. So until tomorrow, peace.